Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing? Hey. Happy Fun Fact Friday, I guess. Fun Fact Friday. I guess that would be what we call, right? And also, we're almost to the end of Health Literacy Month, and I think we may extend that to the next month because this has been fun, and there's so much more that we can share and help, like, give education about, right? So, welcome. My name is Sequoia Ashe Taylor, and what I do, I'm the CEO and founder of Ashe Wellness, and what I do is that I help stressed out women who are attempting to find balance to maintain and establish healing habits so they can be healthy and happy. And how do we do this? Is that we distress the mess and we test and not guess. And so my major things are stress management, especially dealing with adrenal fatigue and adrenal insufficiencies and things of that nature, right? And so today, if you saw the title of this actual session is just coming real quick to come and talk to you guys about it because I get asked this all the time. I actually got asked this today in one of my consults, and so I was like, okay, it's a prompt for me to share. Like, I think I should do a live. And so, of course, in the whole vein of Health Literacy Month and just coming talking to you guys and giving my viewpoint and tips on things about life and wellness, then in health and wellness, then why not, right? So, the question of today is it possible to live an entirely stress free life? Is it possible to live an entirely stress free life? And so I think that when people ask me that, it's kind of like I think it's they don't encompass all of what the stress is, and so the answer to some of that question would be one thing, and then overall, though, the answer is a certain answer, right? And so, with that being said, if you guys are watching live, please comment live. Let me know. Do you think that we can live an entirely stress-free life? Based off that question, like, give your comment, give your feedback. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And if you're watching and if you feel like the information is valuable, then definitely hit that share button and share with your network of friends and family, right? And so before I go through my actual response of can we live an entirely stress-free life, the thing I guess I will have to like set the difference and set the tone in is when you say stress free life, do you mean on the emotional side where things are worrying you and burning you down and the stresses of life? Um, like, do you mean like eliminating and managing and reducing those? Or do you just mean stress, period? And so I'm gonna give my answer, and my answer is no. No, we cannot live an entirely stress-free life, right? And that is like multifaceted, is multi-pointed, and I'm gonna talk about that now, right? So no, we cannot live an entirely stress-free life, in my opinion. Nor do I want to. Ding. Like what? Did you just say? Yeah. So no, we cannot live an entirely stress-free life, and I don't want to. The reason why is one of the reasons why is because everything is a stressor. Everything is a stressor. And so once you truly understand like how your body functions and what it does and how everything works in the definition of stress and what stressors are, everything from emotion. I hope that ain't not on mic. So to include emotions, even movement. This is a stressor because I'm doing something out of the norm, blinking. This is So when you think about that, everything is a stressor. Then it kind of makes you think like, okay, when you're saying the stresses that can be like living a life of entirely like stress free, then what do you mean, right? So the answer to the question is no. The answer to the question is no. We cannot live a entirely stress free life, and nor do I want to. And like I said, number one is that everything is a stressor. Everything is a stressor, and so by everything being that way, if we live an entirely stress-free life, then when we eat our food, your food wouldn't process that whole system. So from putting something in your mouth and it going down the esophagus and going to the digestive system and doing that, that is a stressor to the body. That's one of the major stresses to the body, right? And so if you eliminate that and you had no stressor, then how would you be able to digest your food? Another thing is that um, there are things that you need to do for your body process that you need to have stressors. And so the first thing is that no, like we can't because everything is a stressor. Number two is there are certain things that are good stress. You can have like a eustress and a distress, and you could talk about those things later, but there are certain things that are good for your stress, right? And so you want your body to be alerted when certain things happen. If a dog, because I use that analogy all the time, if a dog is actually saying, hey, is chasing you, then you don't want your body to just be sitting chill. If a whale is gonna come in and try to bite your leg off, you do not want to sit and chill. If you are being attacked, and it's life or death, you want to go in fight or flight mode. You want your body to do that. So that is a good stressor. A good stressor could also still be you digesting your food. A good stressor could also be the things that your body, every time the cells are moving it to, you have a pathogen or a virus or something, and your immune system does what it's supposed to do. The your environment, your immune system and stuff does what it's supposed to do. That's a stress on the body, and so in that way, it's a good thing because you don't want to get sick. You want your immune system to do what it's supposed to do. But that movement and action in itself is a stressor. That's why some people get sick or get tired. They're not feeling well because the immune does what it's supposed to do. So there are good stressors in your life. And so you don't want to eliminate those because it would basically mean like death. Like if your immune system doesn't do what it's supposed to, everything under the sun would be able to come in and then you would be sick and die, right? There's nothing fighting it to protect you. And so though that is a good stressor, your food being digested is a good stressor. Fight or flight is a good stressor, right? And so that is another reason why no, we cannot live a entirely stress free life, and nor do I want to. The third thing is that you need a yin and yang type of effect on your body, right? And so your body, even though the yin and yang is the best way to kind of describe that, because you don't ever want in certain situations for the body in this to be balanced in this situation when it comes to stress. So I always like give that analogy about like your cortisol and your DHEA. You cannot like be in fight or flight mode and then talk about resting and like sleep. You can't eat. You can't like, because if you run around and you're like stressed out and fight or flight, most people say, well, I'm not hungry. Like I can't eat, or if something that's chasing you or you've been attacked, the last thing you're thinking about is taking a nap and eating something. So those things will never be balanced, and they never should be. So if you didn't have the stresses in your life, you would always have that I'm chill mode. I'm cool. I'm just gonna eat. I'm just gonna do this. But what about the part that says no? We need to have these things, and it's all about the cortisol. What regulates blood sugar, and that does so many different things, right? Your protein, carb digestion. We talking about releasing the hormones and aldosterone, which is like the testosterone, which is like sex drive and all that kind of stuff that this amazing organ does. But you definitely want to have your cortisol, because if you don't have cortisol, we will be dead. That helps with the regulation of the way the body systems work. So if you did not have the stressors, the good stressors, you would not be able to function, and so it would be for not to have that relaxation. So you definitely want to have the yin and yang, and they will never be balanced. You can't be like, oh, I'm stressed out and I'm in fight or flight, or a stressor is happening, and then I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be restful, I'm going to be peaceful. So your cortisol says one thing, and the DHEA say, okay, it's over with, chill, like cool out, like relax, calm down, chill out. And then the other thing says, oh, no, it's an alert, something's happening, like go do that. And so your body is doing it all the time, even if it's little things that you may or may not know about. It's doing it all the time. Just as, like I said, with you got a cold or you had a pathogen that came in, your body is like stress run, like get it. So that's the stressor to the body. That's a good one, because it's attacking it and it's like, oh, get at it. And then when it's done doing what it's supposed to do, it'll say, okay, we're like relax and chill. And so just that premise of that, those are things that are stressful to the body, but they're good things that are beneficial too. So the reason why I say yes, know that we cannot live a entirely stress-free life, because you want to have that yin and yang. You have to have, it's a must that you have that yin and yang that goes in with the process of doing what you need to do as far as survival. Like that is like life or death. You have to have the balance of those two. So so the question that gets asked me all the time about living the life, can we possibly live an entirely stress-free life? And I think that, like I said, the most of the time when people are asking that, they're not looking at the whole thing as a whole. Like when I look at stress, I'm looking at everything. I'm like, well, when you wake up and when you go to sleep, everything from that point to those hours in between are stressors, right? And so I look at it a little bit differently, but I think what people are asking is, even in life, on the flip side, there's the life things that are happening to you. The stressors from work, from the kids, from the COVID, relationships, and just being yourself and trying to figure this thing out. And you may say, well, Sequoia, could we ever get free of that? And again, the answer is no. And I wouldn't want to, because again, that yin and yang is the one that sticks out to me the most. Even on the 8 different areas of wellness, if you don't have something that has, I guess for me especially, I can say, having like several of my family members die, I appreciate life a little bit different. So yes, it's hurtful and it's painful and it's stresses that come with that, but at the same time, it taught me a different lesson. It taught me to think a different way. It gave me an experience that I never would have had, right? And so when we ask that question about living a stress-free life, I don't ever say that we do like stress elimination. There are certain things, there are certain nouns, as I say all the time. There are certain people, places, and things that you need to get rid of and you need to eliminate. And that means like go away, like get from here. My energy floors, right? And then there are certain things as far as stress that you can reduce, and there are certain things that you can manage, and there are different techniques and things that you can do to manage those stressors. But as far as living a like entirely stress-free life, no. It wouldn't be fun because when you get that adrenaline running and pumping it on, even the fun stuff that you want to do, and you get hyped up or you get excited about something, like if you're a career field or it's your birthday or it's a party, and that like that, those are stressors because your body goes into a heightened state. So even being joyful and being happy is a stressor to the body. That's when I say everything is a stressor, it is. And so if I eliminate everything stressful, I wouldn't be able to be happy. I wouldn't be able to be sad. I wouldn't be able to be angry. And so I wouldn't learn and have those life experiences. Life would be literally like robots, and robotic in the strings. And I don't think that's what God or the universe intended when it said for us to have free will or different things. If it took that away, then it would be for naught to kind of live. Everything would be methodical and it would be planned out for us to be able to do those things. So on the grand scheme of things, of saying like that if we wanted, could we live an entirely stress-free life? I think the question is posed because of the things that are stressing those actual people. And so because they're stressed out, because they're overwhelmed, they're coming to me, yes, on a physical level, I could show them, yes, on a, based off DNA level, based off, all levels, I'm able to show, even on an energy level, emotional level, able to show them the things that are stressing them and how we can create protocols to manage and reduce them. But there are a lot of things that we are thinking that we want to eliminate that we really probably shouldn't be eliminating as far as a stressor, right? And so we will, you have to just evaluate that and think about what we learned. And I learned that more with mindful meditation. I learned that more with being more mindful with meditation and EFT tapping and being more present and accepting things and giving myself grace and all those things that we talk about when we start talking about stress management and stress reduction. After going through those things and practicing those things a lot, and as I continue to do this, because this is a never-ending thing, I think I'll be dead before it actually ends. And so learning those things and practicing using those techniques allows me to know that this journey is for everything. Everything is for a time and a season. Please get out of my life. That is very rude. I will do it in a minute. Give me a minute. I will go do it in a minute. So being able to have the ability to do those type of things, like that's a stressor right there. I would use that as a prime example, like using that is stressful or that's irritation or something. But then do you eliminate it or do you just move past it, right? And so when you look at life like that, these things are gonna happen. Life is gonna happen to us. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have the hills and the valleys and the mountains and the high and plains. And so when you think about life in an overall picture, the concept of saying eliminating stress entirely is just like, okay, I want all this stuff to go away. I want to be in a calm state. And I think that's the question that people are mainly asking. How can I get at a point where I'm able to be able to maintain or, function or reduce or manage the stressors on how they're in my life, because we're going to have them and you cannot eliminate them, nor should a lot of the stuff you shouldn't want to reduce them. You shouldn't want to eliminate them, but how can we manage them and to make them so that we can live a better lifestyle? I can be more comfortable with them. I can learn how to manage them. I can do the techniques and stuff. So I think that's what people actually are asking underlying. But the question that gets asked is, hey, can I eliminate, can I have a stress-free life? And I'm like, no. And to be honest, you really don't want to. So just for those people who are joining again, I'm coming to talking about like the question that gets asked, that I get asked all the time about, can we have an entirely stress-free life? And I gave 3 different points about why my answer is no, and that we shouldn't want to. And so if you're watching it, if you miss some of those points, be sure to catch it at the beginning. Watch it as a replay and let me know that you watched as a replay. Give me your thoughts and your tips on this, and your feedback. Do you think that we should be able to live, someone said I stress out over everything? Yes. And so those are things that can be, that can be reduced or managed, right? And so stressing out about things, the actual act of the stressing out about certain situations is a mindset thing. right? Your body itself is doing stress all everything. And so the at like I said, I think what most people are asking is, hey, how can I better manage my stress, my life stress, my work stress, my environmental stress, my relationship stress, my physical stress, my spiritual stress, my mental stress, all those 8 areas of wellness that people like deal with on the daily, my financial stress, right? How can I better manage those? That's the question that you're really asking. How can I manage those and how can I reduce those? And some things will eliminate. Like I said, some nouns need to go, right? But it's all about the concept of the art of acceptance, the art of giving yourself grace, the act of doing certain techniques and different modalities to actually help you manage and reduce stress. Because you don't want to eliminate those things. You need that financial type of stressor, right? Because of the yin and yang that we talk about. And so, how do you better learn from that? And there are certain things that we don't realize that come into our life that we should learn. We need to learn these lessons. You need to learn the lesson about how, like, if you didn't pay your bill on time and your lights got turned off, if you're smart and astute, you won't do it again. If you didn't learn the lesson, guess what happens the next time you don't pay your bill again? Your lights get turned off again. Right? So it's to teach you a lesson. It's to teach you about managing. And sometimes when you keep getting the same lesson over and over and over, it's because we didn't learn it the way that we should. And so knowing that is that we have to make sure that we're doing things to make sure that we're properly addressing them in the correct way. And so, can we eliminate and have an entirely stress-free life? The answer is no, and nor should you want to. It's all about managing them, and it's all about making sure that you're doing those type of things. So, with that being said, like I said, if you didn't get the 3 things, I'll go over them real quick. The reasons why I said we cannot live a stress-free life and why we shouldn't want to. The first thing is that everything is a stressor. Number 2, we shouldn't, because there's good stress. And number 3 is because we want to have the yin and the yang of stressors and de-stress so that we can have balance and have a it will never be, the scale will never be balanced, but have a yin and a yang to a situation, right? So that we can continue to live life on an optimal level and get into that homeostasis stuff that we talk about. So that is what we talk about over at Ashe Wellness when we get to the part of talking about stress, management and reduction techniques. And then a lot of times we focus on the physical stuff. We focus on those adrenals glands, and then we also focus on your energy, because a lot of that stuff is energy level, meridian based, like Chinese meridians and things of that nature. And then we also deal with stuff on an emotional level, because people don't realize. Thank you. Yes, stress is a killer. Yes, yes, and I've heard that my entire life that stress kills. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's cool, it's cool. And then I started learning about that type of stuff, and that's why I made that my niche market. And I say that we help stressed out women, because a lot of us are walking around with, like, a lot of it's baggage. Like I said, it's energy, it's emotional, and then it shows up on the physical, and you're like, okay, I'm waking up tired. I have chronic fatigue, or my hormones are out of whack. I'm having mood swings, and I'm having brain fog, and my sex drive is not the same, and all of these different things that come up, your sleep and your blood sugar and all those kind of things. And I'm like, oh, when I start hearing those things, I'm like, and it's because it's a physical manifestation of what we have been doing over time. It is not something that just happened overnight. That's why I said that when the women come to me, you're stressed out and you're tired of it. You're tired of being that way because it's showing up on a physical level, but it didn't just happen yesterday. I had a client the other day tell me that she had been feeling like fatigued and not feeling her best. The question was, when was the last time you felt your best? And she told me it was probably like 18 or 19 years, basically almost 20 years. And I'm thinking to myself, so you've been tired for 18, 19 years, right? And so people just deal with it. We adapt. That's actually a stressor too, like the ability, having the ability to adapt to stuff, right? And not addressing it and not allowing ourselves to say stuff. And if somebody says, well, how are you doing? How are your stress levels on a level of 1 to 10? You'll say one thing, but I'm like, hey, I'm not asking you. I need to ask your body. Let me ask your body. Let me ask your true self what that level is. And I bet you your body will say something different. We just, especially as women, we learn to cope with things. And that coping is a stressor, and it's killing us. It is definitely it's killing us because we don't give ourselves grace. We don't give ourselves mercy. We don't allow ourselves to make mistakes. We don't allow ourselves to grow. We don't allow ourselves to learn lessons. And it's literally taking us out. It's literally doing it. So by the time it's showing up on a physical level, I'm like, look, that's 6 miles behind the accident. We have to go 4 miles behind the accident and 2 miles behind the accident, and then we get to the accident. and so people are shocked. I think that's the most thing that I've had as a FDN that has been revealed to me, and even in that niche market, is that a lot of it is not just something that happened overnight. Women are very, very, very adaptable, and we are very strong people, and we don't give ourselves credit for that. We don't give ourselves credit for being able to adapt to the situations that were dealt to us. And then sometimes we have that guilt, we have the shame, and then the thing that kills us the most is that we are afraid to say those things to other people. We're like, oh, I feel embarrassed for saying that. Oh, I'm not a real woman if I say that, or I look weak, I look vulnerable if I say those things to you. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is the space where you better say it. Right? You better find a space to get it. If it's not me, or like someone I practice, you better find it. You better find it. Like, you better find the way, because if not, it will keep circling, it will keep cycling, and it will get worse. And the things that happen to you on a physical level will continue to go on, because, like I said, it's over time. And so, how long have you been waking up tired? How long have you been having brain fog? How long, so people say, well, I kind of been forgetting stuff. I forgot where I put my keys. Oh, I forgot, this. I've been having mood swings. I was cool this morning, then kids did something, I snapped. Especially in this climate right now. Oh, I snapped because my mood. I was so happy, like after mid morning, and then like the early afternoon, I started getting sluggish and fatigue, and my mood changed. I started feeling sad and gloom. Those are not okay things, right? But we accept them, and we push through. We persevere. We're resilient, and it's okay to need the help of that. It's okay to say that I need assistance and healing myself on that. And so that's why we do that at Ashe. We that's what Ashe is a Yoruban word that says I have the power to change and make things happen, right? And so that's what we do. We help you to have the power to see your power. Like we say, it's an ownership word. I have the power to change. In this instance, it's my wellness. And so that's why we do that, right? Yeah. Yeah, we carry it and we put it on ourselves. Everybody else stuff, we carry it, we put it on ourselves. And it's one of the major things that I think is killing us. Yeah, and we don't want to be vulnerable to even to each other. I think even with some of my close friends, someone like a couple of my friends, like my friends are gutter. I guess they have to be dealing with Aries like me, but my friends are good. They just straight out tell me, I have friends that are for different things, and I consider my friends, when you are my friend, you are my family. And so we have built a rapport, and I have friends that straight up tell me like, man, you ain't okay. Like, what's wrong with you? And so to have someone in your corner to say it like that, and I'm like, well, technically I don't feel like saying it, but this and this, and they're like, nah, something not right. Like, be real, be vulnerable, be honest, be 100. And say that. And so you have to have people in your circle like that too. And if people are not in your circle that like are always yes men or yes women, that are always telling you what you need to hear. And like, I love doing the congratulations. I'll do that all day. I'm an exhorter. I do that all day long. Hey, congratulations! Oh my God, this is so awesome, and you're doing this and you're doing that. But where's the people who are gonna check you too? If you don't have people in your corner who who will check you, and I don't mean check you like come and downgrade you and beat you up and always giving negative criticism, but I mean the person who can ask you and really go deeper than say they're not going to accept your I'm doing okay. Oh, hi, hey, how you doing? I'm fine, and you? Somebody that's not going to take that response, right? And you have to have at least one of those people in your corner. I guess I'm lucky and blessed to have like 3 or 4 of those people, because they know I do it to them too. So carrying around other people's like problems, you can't, because it is literally killing us. Like, and that's what I learned from COVID the most. Like, I can't carry someone else's stuff because I have enough stuff on my own. I have enough problems being Sequoia. So you talking about being in a relationship, you talking about being a mom, all those other roles. And so that was part of the reason too why I started saying like women, like you are like the woman, you're the woman, right? Because we take on those roles, and we take on those roles so hard. Like, oh, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I got a boo. That those my kids, they do such and such and such, and this is my career. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a that. We could take on all the other things, and that's hiding and covering up, putting on mask and putting on makeup, putting on this other stuff, facades about the person that you are. It's hard enough just being the person that your parents came together to make. Like, my parents had to come together and make me Sequoia. It's hard enough being her, right? So add on to being her and finding out who she really is and what she really likes and what she really wants to do and what she really thinks, right? It's hard enough doing that. And then I'm going to add on being somebody's mom times 2 with their personalities. Then talk about the scene of dating and think about bringing somebody else in a relationship and then, oh, I got to be considerate of your feelings. And then I got to be somebody's daughter. I have to be somebody's sister. I have to be somebody's friend. I have to be somebody's coach and practitioner. I have to be all these other things, right? And so we doing all of that, and then all those things are like layered, and so you never take the time for the most part to give yourself as the person who you are the grace and mercy to be able to process things, the grace and mercy to be able to say no, I'm not doing that, the grace and mercy to say I'm not feeling it, that's not what I want to do, or the ability to say anything at all. Like I've learned, for me, my silence is golden. People know me, I will talk to the day is long. But when I don't say anything, they're like, what's wrong with you? What's up? Like, you mad? You don't have no thoughts on that? They know that's a problem. So your silence is golden too. Choosing when you're going to share and open your mouth and use your voice is important too. All right, so those things are all the reasons why, we're off a tangent, but yeah, those things are important. And so with our clients, this is things that we work on. We work on them on the physical thing, and like I said, but a lot of it sometimes is emotional. And the number one thing that I'm learning with this stress management is to being able to get the art of acceptance of who you are as a person outside of everything else, and then giving yourself grace, and then starting the process of healing to do that, right? And so on that spectrum of that, then if you ask me the question, are we able to live an entirely stress-free life? Then I'm like, no. Based off everything I just said, no. And we shouldn't want to, because we're learning. We'll continue to evolve. We're turning to grow. We're going to keep getting education. We're going to keep being a better ourselves. That's the goal of most people. They're like, oh, I got to be something more than this. That's the goal that most people are attempting to attain in all those areas of wellness, right? All those areas of life. And so if you do that, then to have the stress part of it taken away, even the ones that are like bad, that we feel like are bad, is not helping on the journey. So it's all about, the game is finding ways to reduce and manage your stress and to claim your power as you. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in and saying hey and shouting out and let me know those things. So yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you guys. And if you're not a part of our community and our tribe, please drop the links that say tribe below, so that you can be added to our community where we go into deeper dives about this. B, if you know that you need to find out more about areas of stress for you, whether that's adrenal fatigue or gut health and all those other good things, then we definitely do that as well. Say consult in the chat or inbox us so that we can go ahead and get that scheduled for you. And you guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And if you have any questions, please do inbox me, because then it's a topic that we can come live about. You never know, other people may feel the same way. And so these are prompts or questions that I get asked, and I feel like that I should come live and share them with you guys and get your feedback on them. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, Ashe, I have the power to change and make things happen, and so do you. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye bye.